What's up, everybody? This is Whiskey in the Six. I'm Rob. Doing a rye rundown today. 3 Canadian whiskeys, 1 American whiskey. Here we go. Last Straw Distillery over here on the left. It is a straight Ontario rye. All the rye was sourced from Ontario. It's 43%. This distillery continues to surprise me. They're doing awesome things. Here we go. So it's 3 years old. Really nice oaky notes. You can tell they're using quality oak for their whiskeys. There's like a lemongrass note, maybe a little bit of dill, some really sweet pear, some vanilla, some brown sugar, and some caramel. Again, with that brown sugar, vanilla sweetness, some orchard fruit for sure, like a sandalwood finish, which is nice. Really nice overall. I was one of the guys that got a chance to choose the ABV for this one, or at least put a vote in for the ABV on this one. There were 2 other options. There were no bad decisions. The majority went with the 43%. There's a very limited amount of bottles of this whiskey, so if you want one, you got to go online to the distillery and grab it there. They will ship it to you likely. Really nice stuff. Expect great things to come out of this distillery. They're going to be coming out with more whiskey in the next 6 months to a year, so keep an eye out for them. I'm going to give this one a B+. It's really good stuff. It's young, like I said, but it doesn't taste young, which is awesome. A lot better than some of the options out there, and they're doing everything the right way, not going by the 9.09% rule. This is just 100% rye whiskey. Over here to the Dillion. So this is a Niagara, Ontario region whiskey. It is new Ontario oak, non-chill filtered. The color is a little bit lighter, despite being a year older than the Last Straw, and it's cask strength, so it's 57.2. So I'm not sure why the color is so light on this, but here we go on this one. So sitting in the glass for some time now, you get like a porgy kind of note. A little bit of a brown sugar, but not quite any rye spice. It's 10% malted rye and then 90% unmalted rye. Yeah, so 100% rye, 48 months in a barrel, which was new oak. It's probably not charred. That could be what the reasoning is for the light color. Maybe it's just a toasted barrel. You get a lot of chamomile type notes on this, like a tea kind of note. Okay, on the palate. Chamomile on the palate as well. It's nice. 4 years old. At cask strength, it needs time to open up in the glass. It's not the best tasting once you first pour it, but if you let it sit for a while, it really opens up. You get a lot of tea notes, which I've never actually experienced with a rye before, especially that chamomile, which is really sticking out. This one's a B. It's good stuff. I would say that it could even go up to a B+, but I do give the edge to the Last Straw whiskey. I remember tasting this at barrel proof, and I absolutely loved it. I voted for the barrel proof, but the 43 is excellent as well. I think this one will be well received with most people. Good stuff overall. But the Dillion's is really nice as well. Moving over here to a Vancouver distillery. It's Shelter Point. These guys are located in British Columbia, Canada. They are mountainous, coastal distillery. So it's kind of got a whole bunch of things going on there. A few reviewers really rave about Shelter Point. I've only ever tried this rye from them. This rye really makes me want to try other things from them. So here we go. So a salted caramel kind of note. This is Alberta Rye. So it's 100% rye, acquired from Alberta Distillery. Shelter Point bottled it for Kensington Wine Market. Kensington Wine Market is popping out some awesome single cask store exclusives. This is one of them. This Amrut 8.5-year-old rum cask is another, which is coming up soon. Excellent stuff. This Glen Scotia single cask 19-year-old cask strength sherry is another, and it's excellent as well. I haven't had a bad one yet. I'm very curious what else they have in their inventory. I've recently become a Springbank Society member, and I'm getting my stuff through them. And that's this Longrow 11 right here. I also have the Springbank 15 port cask that came from them as well. Kensington's really impressing me lately with what they're coming out with. I really enjoy their stuff. So this is one of them, and I'm good on them for getting this. Yeah, this is a beautiful nose. Bubblegum sweetness, brown sugars. Something salty in the background. It's definitely that ocean spray from Vancouver Island. Really nice. So on the palate, that salted caramel, salted brown sugar note follows through. There's a bubblegum sweetness, rye spices. Alberta Rye is different than Ontario Rye. I've noticed it with the Lot 40 cask strength. I noticed it with these two ryes here and this Alberta Rye, which is aged in BC. There's definitely a taste difference between an Alberta Rye and Ontario Rye. The Alberta Rye, you think American whiskeys, and the reason for that is a lot of Alberta Rye is sourced from like Whistlepig and different distilleries down south. Really nice. This is, like I said, Alberta Rye, but I've heard rave reviews about Shelter Point. This one's an A for me. This is like an 85. Really, really nice stuff. 9 years old. Distilled in May of 2009. Good on Kensington to bring this in, and good on Shelter Point to buy that rye from Alberta Distillery, because it's excellent stuff. Over here to the Soul American, we got Kentucky Owl 11-year-old. This is batch 2. Batch 3 is hitting shelves right now. I believe it's a little bit younger, but the batch 2 is 101.8 proof, so 50.9%. Now, this is not the most fair comparison because this one definitely has some corn whiskey in it. It's a straight rye. At least 52% of this is rye whiskey. The rest could be corn and barley. Very sweet, brown sugary, bubblegum, like a Hubba Bubba note. There's something minty in there as well. A little bit of like a charcoal brown sugar. On the palate, some warm vanillas. Definitely a minty flavor in there. Some dill flavors as well. Brown sugar. Some caramel as well. Nice oaky flavors in there. Really, really nice. The ABV I think is perfect for this whiskey. This is an A, possibly an A plus for me. Probably I'm just gonna go with an 89. I think that's really, really good whiskey. It's the oldest of the bunch. It's excellent. Obviously, it's not the most fair comparison because, like I said, this has some corn in its mash bill, so it's gonna be a bit sweeter than the rest of these. But overall, all these are actually really good. I would recommend all of them. the small batch distilleries are going to be a bit expensive because of what they are. This is actually really expensive now. This was $200. So just to recap, we got a B+, a B, an A, and a high A. All really good stuff. I would recommend all of these. They are all excellent whiskeys. I'm a big rye guy. I can't wait to see what Last Straw has in store for their older product when they start popping out some 5-year-old, some 6-year-old, some 10-year-old. These guys are the guys to look out for, in my opinion. Really, really good stuff coming out of this distillery. Their new make is really tasty. Their gins are already winning a bunch of awards. Their mangy squirrel is really good. They have a lot of really good product. Hit up their website if you haven't already. Excellent spirits coming out of Last Straw Distillery, so check them out. And I think that out of all these guys, they're probably the biggest up-and-comer in my opinion. All of these are excellent though, so be sure to check out all of them. You guys can check me out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You guys can also support this channel on Patreon. Cheers.